Today is our great honor to invite Professor Zhou to give an invited talk. So Professor Zhou is the leading expert in the field of cyber security, in particular system security and blockchain security. He is a professor at Zhejiang University. At the same time, he is the founder of BlockSec, a leading security company in the blockchain sector. So actually, his company has helped the blockchain project, many blockchain project teams defend against attacks, and also identify the vulnerabilities in their smart contracts. So I'm very gratitude I'd like to express my deep gratitude to Professor Zhou as well as BlockSec to provide a scholarship to our MSBT students. Without further ado, let's welcome Professor Zhou to give the invited talk.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Daniel, for the invitation. I'm very honored here to to share the insights of our current research and the products developed inside BlockSec. So today I'm going to talk about the phishing attacks, because phishing attacks are very popular nowadays and it cost like tens of millions of losses each year to the normal Web3 users. So before going deeper to this seminar, so I want to do a very quick survey. So how many of you guys have using the wallets like perform DeFi actions on the blockchain? So can you raise your hand? Okay, not too much. Okay, so yeah, so if you have some experience interacting with using the wallets like the MetaMask or other Web3 wallets to interact with the DeFi applications on blockchain, you will find that it's very hard to understand the transactions, and you are very easily get phished, because almost each day, we receive the emails from the victims saying that I have been phished, losing a lot of money, can you help us? Okay, so even some, the developers of the famous DeFi protocols, because they are our customers. So they asked us, one of our founders' wallets has been phished, can you help us? So even, the experts inside this field can get phished. So why? So today I'm going to talk about this. So I will talk about the different types of phishing attacks and the evolutions of the phishing techniques used by the hackers. And at last, we'll talk about different ways to protect the users from the Web3 phishing. So yeah, so a very short summary of myself. So I got my PhD in 2015 in the United States. And then I came back to China. I worked as a senior researcher at Qihoo 360. And then I joined Zhejiang University as a professor in 2018. And then I founded BlockSec in 2021. So yeah, I build systems, right? So we build the systems to solve the real problems inside this space, right? And because you are solving real problems in your research, and your tools can have the high impacts inside this area. And BlockSec was founded in 3 years ago, 2021, and backed by top investors and customers. We have like more than 200 different DeFi protocols as our customers, and some of them are very famous in this field, like the Uniswap Foundation, the Prof, the Paris, the PancakeSwap, and some others. And besides the security auditing, we have developed a couple of different products, provided to this community. One of the products is called the Phalcon. So the Phalcon is a platform to monitor and block hacks. So by using this Phalcon product, the DeFi protocols and the investors, they can actively monitor transactions to the DeFi protocols, and if there is any malicious transactions, interacting with the DeFi protocols, and automatic actions can be performed by our system to block the hacks and save the assets inside, save the assets of the users. And we also have, inside the Phalcon, we also have other tool set called Phalcon Explorer. Phalcon Explorer is very popular, used by the security community to analyze the complicated transactions, to understand what's going on of a complicated transactions, to understand the root cause of a security incident. And MetaSleuth is crypto investigation platform, which is available online as a SaaS platform. Everyone can subscribe to this platform to analyze the fund flow between different chains, to track the fund flows, to perform the criminal investigations. And this platform has been actually has been used by some law enforcement in Europe and in United States. They subscribe to our plan, to perform the investigation. And another is we have a browser extension called previously called MetaDock, but now we changed the name. So it's just connect different useful tools to facilitate your experience on the blockchain explorers like Etherscan. Using this extension, you can generate the fund flow of an address. You can find the compliance score, risk score of an address, and you can we put different address labels on the Etherscan, to facilitate the user experience. So this is basically our product metrics, right? So we have Phalcon, we have MetaDock, we have MetaSleuth to different users. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about 3 different topics inside the Web3 phishing. So first I will give a very short introduction of what is Web3 phishing. Then I will illustrate the evolution. Elaborate the evolution of the Web3 phishing, and at last I will propose some methods to protect the Web3 users. Okay. So what is Web3 phishing? So if you have the experience to interacting or sending transactions on the blockchain, you will understand that the first step of sending a transaction into the blockchain is you need to use a wallet to sign a transactions, right? The wallet could be MetaMask, the most popular web wallet, and you connect when you sign a transaction, a window will pop up to showing some information of the transaction you are going to sign. Thanks. And then you can click the button to sign the transactions, and the transaction will be broadcast on the blockchain and will be confirmed, committed on the blockchain. So this is a normal transactions, but in the phishing scenario, an attacker, they can lure users to sign some transactions that and the users do not actually understand the meanings of this transaction, right? So the attackers, they can ask users to sign a transaction to directly transfer their Ether into their account, but because of the information on the wallet is not very clear, or the users, they do not understand the complicated interactions, the user will be treated to click accept and sign the transactions, and their assets will be lost. So this is a basic workflow of the Web3 phishing. And we have seen different types of the Web3 phishing, because the hackers, they are also becoming more smart, becoming smarter and smarter. They use new methods or the new mechanisms to trick users. The first type of the phishing transaction is very simple. It's just direct token transfer. They just ask users to transfer the tokens into the hacker's address, right? Very straightforward. They just ask users to transfer a token, but they will use some attractive websites to tell users that if you sign this transaction, you will get some airdrop tokens, or the rewards but the actual transaction is nothing about the airdrop or reward, just the token transfer. Okay. The second type of the phishing transaction is we call the approval transaction. The approval transaction, the approval is a mechanism used by the ERC20 token or some other tokens to dedicate your privilege to spend your own token to others. So it's a design, to facilitate the interactions between different DeFi applications. But this mechanism can be abused by the hackers, right? So the hackers, they can ask users to sign transactions to dedicate their tokens or privilege to spend the tokens to the hackers. So after that, the hackers, they can just spend the tokens of the victims' tokens without any interactions or confirmation from the victims. So basically, the hackers, they just ask the users to sign approval transactions. Okay. The third type we call it the $0 purchase phishing. So the $0 purchase phishing is related to some auto book market of the NFT market, because some NFT markets use mechanisms to, we call the auto book mechanism. So if you want to sell your token, you just sign a transaction saying that I have an NFT and I want to sell my NFT at a particular price. Okay, so this everyone can fulfill this order information if he can get these transactions. So the hacker, they can trick users to sign transactions to sell his or her NFT at a very low price or even zero price, and the hacker, they can immediately fulfill this order because without paying anything or pay a very low price, because the users sign the transactions saying that I want to sell this NFT at this price. So this is called the $0 purchasing phishing. And we also seen some new ones like the address poisoning. Address poisoning I will talk about later. So address poisoning is, I think it's a very smart move, to trick users. They abuse the behavior, the user's behavior to copy the address from Etherscan when to do the transfer. Okay. So there is an example of the phishing websites and the pop-up of the MetaMask to sign the phishing transactions. So you can see that this is a fake MetaMask website developed by the hackers. So because then if the users is tricked to think that this is a real MetaMask website, then he will sign these transactions to directly transfer like 89 USDT to the hacker's address. So you can see the website, the URL of this phishing website is like claimmetamask.com. So claim is some keywords used by the claim rewards or the claim airdrop. Okay. And actually, the loss due to the Web3 phishing is very huge. Because this number is given by our own study, and it's not the complete picture of the whole Web3 phishing. It's just a small scale of the Web3 phishing. And from our own study, and even in last year, in January to December last year, the total loss are exceeding $85 million. As I just said, it's just a part of the Web3 phishing losses, and all these losses can be confirmed by our study, and there are also some others, suspicious, but we do not have very hard evidence to confirm it's due to the phishing attacks. Okay, so after giving the introduction of the Web3 phishing, I will talk about the evolution of the Web3 phishing. So as I just said, the first generation of the Web3 phishing campaign is just the direct Ether transfer. So the hackers, they can put some phishing links inside the Discord, Telegram, or some others, Twitter, or some other social media channels. And when users, so this fake information contains some, contains some message saying that you can claim the airdrop of some popular project, and if the users they click this link, then a phishing website will pop up. And inside this phishing website, the users is needed to connect the wallet and sign transactions, to just sending Ether to the hacker's address. So it's very simple and easy. So even the users, because the normal users, they see this the GUI, the user interface of the MetaMask. So most of them, they do not understand the meanings of these things, right? So even this information saying that you are sending Ether to some other addresses, but the users, they do not understand it because there are so many information here, right? The account, destination, and all these warnings, and this information is only a very tiny, information here, and the users, they do not understand. Right? So after they click the accept button here, then their Ether will be transferred. So so in the early days, the hackers, they also, because for this transaction, right? So we still have the sending Ether, even it's not very obvious, but still have the information here. And in the early days, the hackers, they can leverage a method inside the MetaMask called the Ether sign. So Ether sign directly asks users to sign on raw transactions. The raw transaction means that it's just such information. It's just a series of numbers, and if you sign this series of numbers, it will so the exact semantics of this series of numbers depends on the depends on the actual values by the users, right? So how can you tell what's the meaning of the numbers? Okay, but if you sign this transaction, so then your tokens will be transferred, So it's called the Ether sign. But nowadays, because the wallet, they understand that such method is very dangerous for users. So such method has been disabled by most of the wallets today. So the wallets, they cannot leverage Ether sign to directly sign the raw transactions. And then we are saying that, so for this, the first generation of the phishing transactions, we still have the information like sending Ether, right? So if the user is aware of such scam, they will be more cautious, because if they see the sending Ether inside the user interface, then they will understand it's sending Ether, so they will not sign this transaction. So the hackers, they involve and they use a more advanced technique to trick users. So instead of saying sending Ether, they will use some tricks to show like security updates, airdrop, claim, such misleading information here. So how can they do this? So basically, the information showing on the MetaMask on this GUI is just the method, inside. So if it's a smart contract, so the method of the smart contract will be shown here. But the actual behavior of the smart contract depends on the hackers, right? So the hackers, the scammers, they can develop a phishing smart contract. They put some fancy names as the function names, like security updates, claim, airdrop. But the actual logic is nothing related to these things. They just transfer tokens. But they put the fancy names into their smart contract, then the name will be shown here, and the users will be tricked. They will believe that it's a security update of their wallet, or they can claim some tokens, or they can get the airdrop tokens, something like that. So, okay, so this is the evolution from the first type of the phishing transactions. Then after that, the hackers, they use the approval mechanisms, to trick user. The approval mechanism means that if a user signs, if a user signed an approval transaction, then all the, if a user signed an approval transactions to dedicate the privilege of spending the tokens to the hackers, after that, the hackers, they can directly transfer the tokens you have been dedicated to arbitrary addresses without any interactions from the users. Okay, so what the hackers need to do is just trick the user to sign these transactions, like this one. So even there is some information like allow access to transfer all your tokens, but the users, if they are formal to get the L job, they will just click the button and sign such transactions. So after signing these transactions, then all the tokens transferred to the user's address will be transferred out by the hackers, right? So this is called the approval, and we have seen a lot of such scammers on the blockchain, and we report like thousands of them to EtherScan to label these phishing addresses. So this is one address reported by us on the EtherScan. You can see here reported by BlockSec. And so the approval has different type of variants. So this I will not talk about the technical details, but for the approval allowance, there are different types of variants that can trick users to sign different types of approval transactions. One of them is called the increase allowance method. So if the user sign these transactions, they will just the effect of the increased allowance is similar with the approval transactions. So I will not go too much details about this, but you can see that the increased allowance and the permit mechanism. So it's similar. So the hackers, they can ask a user to sign the permit transactions. So it's like this one. So you can see this signing interface, for the permit transaction is more stealthy because there is no even the information about the permit things. Okay, so this is a permit to seminar. I will not go to the details. Okay, so I have talked about the direct ether transfer, the approval mechanisms. So now I'm going to talk about the $0 purchase. So $0 purchase is abusing the some order book mechanism of the NFT market, like the OpenSea. Okay, so in the OpenSea seaport order protocol, so if the user want to sell his NFT or her NFT, so it's just signing a transaction saying that I want to sell this NFT, and my asking price is like $100 US. So if you can send me more than $100 US, then my NFT will be transferred to you. Okay. So if the hackers, they can they trick the users to sign an order, but the price inside the order is not the user's want. That's because when you sign such an order, the user information is like this. It will show some raw information of this, like the order type, the token, but you cannot even see the price in the first interface of the GUI because it's too long. You need to click this button to scroll down to see the full information. But the users, they do not understand, so they just sign these transactions, right? And we have seen so many phishing incidents due to the $0 purchase. For instance, this is one of the NFT has been stolen by the hackers. This is the buy NFT. It's a very it's a very it's a valuable NFT inside in the ecosystem, and it also happened on the besides the OpenSea, it also happened on other NFT markets. Okay, and the proxy upgrade is a very special case of the OpenSea CPOT proxy the mechanism. So because in the older version of the CPOT protocol, every registered user will have a smart contract on the blockchain, to manage or to sell his NFT. And this contract is a proxy contract and can be upgraded by the user. So the attacker, they can just lure the users to sign a transaction to upgrade this the implementation of this proxy smart contract. So if the implementation of a proxy smart contract is upgraded, then the logic is inside the upgraded smart contract, and the upgraded smart contract is controlled by the scammer, right? So they can put some malicious logic to manipulate the assets of the victims. So this is the basic idea of these things, and we can see this is some real incidents on the blockchain, like to using the proxy upgrade to steal users' NFT. But it's not. This is happened last year, the May 16 last year. But not, because this is a very old protocol, the new OpenSea CPOT protocol does not use this mechanism. But there are still, some accounts that were registered very long ago. They have such issues, can be tricked to be upgraded. Okay. The last one is we call the address poisoning. So the address poisoning means that so when a user, they want to transfer a token to someone else, some of them will, because when you transfer the token to someone else, you need to put the address inside the destination as a destination address, right? But this address is too long to remember by a human being. So most of the users, they just go to the Etherscan and to find the in the transaction history to find the addresses, because like if I have sent the token to my friend in previously, so I can just find the history transaction and just copy the address, as because I think it's my friend's address. So so the hackers, they can leverage, they can exploit this user's behavior. So how can they do this? So I give you a concrete example. So there is real transactions, like one users, they sent 50K USDC to this address. This is a legitimate address, like his friend's address or his customer address also. But it's a legitimate address. And when this transaction is on the blockchain, the scammer, they will exploit they will exploit the mechanism of the Etherscan to parse the transaction history. They can use some loopholes to create a fake transaction history on the blockchain. But in this fake transaction history, the destination address is very similar to the legitimate address, right? So you can see the last 4 digits of these two addresses are very similar. So it's also the 668, but the real address is not same, So the next time, if the user want to transfer, the tokens to their friends, they could misunderstand that this transaction is this address is his friend's address, because it's very similar. So they just copy this address and use it as a destination address. And then, because this address is actually controlled by the hackers. So if this happens, the hackers will get the tokens transferred by the victims, like this one. So this victim lost like 300K USDCs because of the addressing poisoning. So some of you may wondering saying that, so from this history list, the color, and there's also a warning, and the color is different from the legitimate address. That's because currently the EtherScan, they have some mechanism, to prevent this from happening. But in the early days, there's no difference between the history of the fake transaction history between the fake transaction history and the real one. So it's no difference. The users, they will not notice such differences. Okay. So I just talked about the different types of the phishing hacks. So after that, I will we find that okay. Sure.
I actually have there's another variety of this. Because this one you see how user will notice there's a 0, right?
Yes.
So they also have another
Yeah. That's the
different
token. Yeah.
Different type of token.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cost nothing, but it gave the same value.
Yeah, exactly. Because the hackers they involve, they learn. Yeah, they want to trick users and they can get profit. Okay. And we also find a new trend of the phishing campaign. We find that the phishing campaign is not just performed by some individuals. There are some organized criminal activities. So, so how can we find this? Because we find that there are some different roles of inside the phishing organized criminals activities. So someone, they just develop some phishing toolkit. They do not perform the actual phishing activity. They just develop the code. And they will publish such code on the GitHub or on other channels to their distributors. The distributor means that they have compromised some Twitter account. They have compromised some social media accounts. Then they will deploy the code, developed by others, deploy the phishing website, develop all the smart contract on the blockchain. And the distributor, the responsibility of the distributor is just to trick the users and to get their money, but they need to split their profit like 20% to the developers of such phishing toolkit. Okay, so we find this is a very popular currently in the community because this can, everyone only needs to do the job they are good at, right? So the distributors, they are good at compromising the social media. They are not good at writing the phishing website. They are not good at writing the phishing smart contract. And the phishing toolkit developers, they are good at developing this phishing toolkit, but they are not good at how to trick users. So they can combine together to become an organized criminal activity. Okay, and the first well-known wallet drainer is called the Monkey Drainer, and it's very active in last year, in the year before last year and last year, and the drain overnight 24 million US dollars, and we have seen that currently the drainer is the provider of the drainer toolkit. We call it a drainer as a service because the developer of the drainer toolkit, they provide, as I just said, they provide this toolkit to the distributor, and the distributor actually perform the phishing activities, and they will split the profit between the drainer services and the actual distributors. So we have write a very long blog last year to demystify the profit sharing mechanism in the drainer. And we have a study of the drainer families, and the paper is currently in submission. And we started the popular drainer in last year, in March last year to December last year. And we find that there are three very popular drainer organizations. They have gained a lot of profits. Of course, this is just some drainer organizations funded by our startup. There are also some hidden journal organizations, were not detected by our startup, and we believe the losses is much higher than the numbers we reported in the paper. Okay, and we also see that the promotion channels. The promotion channel means the channels to promote to trick the users. The original channel is like the Discord, but we will see that the Twitter account nowadays is a main main places for the phishing URLs. So because like this fake accounts, so this is a official account. You can see the fake account is just very similar, but the fake account, they will distribute some phishing addresses, and they can even compromise some KOL or some OG's Twitter account. Even the Vitalik, the Vitalik Twitter account has been hacked last year to distribute the phishing links. Okay, so this is a Vitalik Twitter got hacked last year, and this is the phishing link actually. Can name your piece of it. This is just a link to the phishing websites. Okay, so the summary of the web phishing is that the phishing transaction become more complex, right? From the direct token transfer to the approval to the proxy upgrade, and the journal as a service grows very rapidly because, as I just said, everyone needs to do the things they are good at, right? The scammers, they hack popular projects or the KOL's Twitter account to promote the phishing, to distribute the phishing websites. Okay, so at last I will talk about the different ways to protect the users, because there are different entities inside the ecosystem, inside the users, the security vendors, the CEX, and the wallet vendors. I think from different perspective, right, they need to do things to protect the users. So from a user's perspective, one lesson is that you never sign a transaction you don't really understand, right? So which means you cannot just blindly trust the pop-up. You cannot just trust the information on the pop-up, just blindly click the accept button. You need to read carefully about the information on the MetaMask. Of course, the MetaMask can be improved to provide more user-friendly information, right? Like instead of the information that is very hard for normal user to understand. But from the user's perspective, be careful, never sign a transaction you do not understand. And the wallet, right, they can maintain some security mechanism, like the blacklist of the phishing websites, phishing accounts. They can provide more user-friendly information to users, right? So actually, BlockSec has contributed lots of phishing websites to the MetaMask. We reported a phishing website to MetaMask to protect the users. And then the centralized exchange, they need to block the funds, because some phishing organizations, they just use the centralized exchanges, to launder their money. So they connect all the incomes of the phishing incomes and then just transfer to the centralized exchange, like the Beyonce, like some others. We have a detailed list in our paper. We have observed some centralized exchange has been abused. Right? So even though this centralized exchange, they have the KYC mechanism, but the KYC information inside the centralized exchange may be fake. So the central exchange, they need to have some mechanisms to immediately know whether an address is a phishing address or not. So they cannot just rely on the KYC information, because the KYC information sometimes is not reliable. And BlockSec has put lots of efforts in, actually to protect the users. So we have a MetaDock, currently called a MetaSleuth plugin. So in this plugin, we have a functionality called approval diagnosis. So approval diagnosis means that you can use our tool to diagnose your approval, because if you interact with so many DeFi applications, you may forget which web addresses, which protocols you have approved, right? So you can use our plugin to perform a diagnosis, and we will put the suspicious approval here. If you can see such suspicious approval, you can just revoke the approval, And this plugin is free to use. You just install this plugin and open the Etherscan. And we have some, address neighbors, as I just said. We have some address neighbors, and we reported suspicious transactions, and then we put some risk scores of the addresses. So before interacting with this address, use our tool to check whether this address is high risk, critical risk, medium risk. Do not interact, with such addresses. And we, as I just said, we have some ongoing research to detect the phishing websites and the phishing addresses. And our work to detect the phishing addresses and the phishing websites has been merged into the Forta scam detector. And we, continuously contribute to the community to share our intelligence, to share our data with the community. And we also have MetaSleuth, the tool to track the fund flow for the law enforcement, because the phishing victims, sometimes they go to the law enforcement. The law enforcement, they can use our tool to help the victim to track the fund flows. If they find the fund is going to some centralized exchanges, the law enforcement, they can ask the centralized exchange to freeze such funds to prevent the loss. And the victims, they can also use our tool to understand what's going on. And we have a portal called the phishing alerts. So we will actively monitoring the phishing transaction on the blockchain, mainly on the Ethereum. So we have a dashboard. You can see the current ongoing phishing hacks, and we will calculate the total loss of the phishing alerts. And we even use called the MetaSleuth 911 .eth address to send the alerts to users when the user is being phished. An interesting finding is that most of the phishing victims, they do not aware that they have been phished until someday they find that the money in their wallet has been gone. Until then, they find that it has been phished. So we want to make the users to know about the phishing situation immediately. So we use the on-chain message, but honestly, it's not a very good way, because the users sometimes they do not read such messages, and we are currently developing some more systems, some new systems to better notify the victims when they got phished. And we have some phishing reports. It's a free phishing report to tell the user what's going on. So the victims of phishing victims, they can use our report to tell the law enforcement what's going on, right? So because sometimes the law enforcement they do not good at this, so our report can help the victims to report the case to the law enforcement. Yeah, I think that's all for today's talk. And there's some links of our Twitter accounts, and we also have a YouTube channel, Bilibili account, and a WeChat public account. So feel free to subscribe to our social medias and such channels. Thanks. Yes, actually, the results reported in our papers, so we developed some automatic systems. So one basic, so I can give you one example of how to detect the approval phishing behaviors. So basically you can monitor all the transfer from transactions on the blockchain. But of course, there are so many legitimate transfer from transactions with these phishing ones. Then you need to have some algorithms to automatically distinguish the phishing addresses who perform the transfer from transaction from the legitimate ones. You need to develop some models to distinguish that. So after that, you can automatically identify such transfer from or approval phishing transaction. So this is just one example of how to automatically to do that for one type of the phishing hacks. And for the address poisoning, you can also you need to develop another algorithm. So basically, it's hard to develop a universal or general methodology for that. You need to develop the corresponding methodologies to different types of the phishing scammers.
Sometimes the hackers may use some social engineering to finish the phishing attacks, like someone use their cell phones as the name, and I take their cell phones and I make it for use. I'm the friend with for some money or in some cases, and you take your privacy or some personal information on the website, and the attackers collect these information and make a phishing to you. And I would like to know, are there any approach to detect the social engineering phishing?
Okay. Well, so basically, so our system are not deal with such threats because it's just the social engineering hacks. So in the Web3 phishing scenario, the social engineering hacks is usually used as the first step, to distribute the phishing links. So and our detection starts from there. So but we do not deal with the social engineering hacks. This is another type of hacks that need to be dealt by others. Or yeah, but it's not in our system.
Any other questions? Let's thank Professor Zhou again for this. So actually, I learned the new attacks in this talk, as well as the new tool to be developed and released by BlockSec. So as far as I know, BlockSec have many useful tools. So I highly encourage all our students to try those tools when you are working on your class projects, because you need to analyze the transactions, detect the attacks, or try to discover vulnerability in smart contracts. You are highly encouraged to use those tools. Thank you.